As we all continue to try to navigate this crazy world in the COVID-19 pandemic, I often wonder what it's been like for those with disabilities during this time. Joining us now on the MegaCast is Craig Sharum. He is the Director of Communications and Outreach for Easterseals, Michigan. Craig, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
So I remember Easterseals, you used to get the stamps all the time, right? Back in the day, I'm like, people even mail letters anymore.
They still do the stamps.
They do.
Every year. So yeah.
Am I dating myself with that one there, Craig?
No, not at all. No, I think that's what really put Easterseals on the map in terms of becoming a household name. That was a campaign that was started back in the early 30s and still goes on to this day. So yeah, it's been a long-standing kind of what we're associated with. So absolutely, we love it.
That's awesome. Marketing 101 back in the 30s. But with that, while we know what Easterseals is, a lot of people don't really know what you guys do day to day. Fill us in.
Yeah, sure. So and probably one of the biggest reasons that people might not be familiar with exactly what we do is because we constantly are evolving and changing. When we opened our doors 100 years ago, it was to provide needs for the community. And so one of the main kind of missions for us is to constantly change to meet those needs, whatever those needs are. So we started offering services for children with physical disabilities back in the 1920s and 30s. And then we've kind of evolved to add adults. And then now our biggest service line is mental health services. And we also have autism services and services for farmers. We help a lot of Michigan farmers with rehabilitation and also helping them to continue farming.
Well, you have so many different areas that you're focused on, but when you say mental health, right now during the middle of the pandemic, that has really become an issue. I think before the crisis, people didn't want to talk about, but now that we are in the middle of this pandemic and this crisis, are more people seeking help, at least through your organization?
Absolutely. We actually, in 2020, we grew by 9%. And so we offer a free screening on our website, and this free screening is about 2 minutes, the mental health screening. It's anonymous, it's online. You can go in and you're not going to end up on a mailing list. We had more people take that screening last year than the previous 5 years combined. So there's definite attention given to mental health, especially last year, and people are seeking services for that, for sure.
But when we say mental health, what does that involve? Because there are so many facets.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I think sometimes people, when they think of mental health, they think of this maybe an outdated association with it. But it can be anything from depression, anxiety, stress, ADD, ADHD. These are behavioral health disabilities. And what we saw in the past year was a lot of people, when you become quarantined, you kind of lose a little bit of what your role is in society. I think by like the second week in sweatpants, you're thinking, well, what the heck? What am I doing? I need to kind of do something. And so a lot of people started experiencing definite side effects of quarantine. We're social beings. We need to interact with each other in whatever ways we can. So a lot of things get lumped in with mental health, and that's what they are. They're anything that kind of prevents you from being able to accomplish your goals or do the things that you set out to do because of some sort of stress and anxiety was a big one last year for sure.
Yeah, that pretty much describes everyone right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but with that, the need is greater. How is your funding right now?
So immediately when the funding, so we rely heavily on events. I mean, that was one of our big things. We're an organization that is so dedicated to the community that we love nothing more than being in the community. So we had to adjust, and we had to take a lot of things virtual. We had to come up with some really creative, inventive ways. We looked for a lot of sponsorships. We had some community partners that came to the table and really helped us out. And we kind of had to change our direction. We had some of our biggest fundraiser of the year takes place in December, and we weren't able to do that. We had to kind of break it up into several virtual events, and those luckily were successful for us.
But when we're talking about virtual, because I think by this time in the beginning, it was kind of like, okay, but by now we're all zoomed out. And,
Absolutely.
Credit to everyone for trying to be creative during this time to do these types of events. But are you still getting the donations that you need going virtual?
Yes. So because of that, we are this whole month of February, we're doing a no event. It's the greatest event that's never going to take place. And what we're doing is we're doing coping boxes. So like if you were to go onto our website, Eastersealsmichigan.com, you can purchase one of these boxes that we have a chief medical officer and several of our highly skilled clinicians help select items that help reduce stress and reduce anxiety. And kind of not only do we have the pandemic taking place, but we also have the winter blues, which we all have every year anyway. Now that's added on to it. So you can go out there and then you can buy one of these boxes that is full of items. And then we also give a box to an individual in need. So those sort of things have been kind of the way that we've been raising funds, and they have been successful for us. With us, 96 cents out of every dollar goes back into the services, and those services are services that take place in Michigan. So we have also had a number of people that have contributed online. We're extremely thankful for them as well to help us keep serving the community.
Craig Sharum with us here on the MegaCast. He's the Director of Communications and Outreach for Easterseals Michigan. One of the great programs that you do focuses on autism as well. For those, again, autistic, there are so many different levels on the spectrum, they say. What are some of the programs do you have for autistic people?
Yeah, we offer the Play Project, which is really, it's this program that is committed to helping to understand the way that the child, like you said, because every child is different on the spectrum, this helps the parent kind of connect with the child and kind of enter into their world and kind of understand what they're thinking and what works and how they can improve on that. We also offer ABA therapy, speech and language therapy, occupational therapy. When the pandemic hit, a lot of these children were in the middle of potty training. And when you have children on the spectrum that are potty trained, it's extremely difficult. So we did the first time we've ever done this, we did virtual potty training. So we were able to potty train a number of kids virtually, and it was pretty successful. And the fact that we were able to kind of adjust to that because we didn't want those children to regress. And so now, thanks to vaccinations and thanks to a number of different safety protocols and things we're doing, we're getting into doing the face-to-face again, which has been kind of great. It's most beneficial. But yeah, we've been able to still execute those programs, and they've been wonderful.
I think about what some of these parents might be going through. We talk about the stress of homeschooling and homework, but when you have a special needs child, that stress can then go so many levels higher during the pandemic because the routine is broken and they need that routine.
Absolutely. We actually, during all of last year, we would host little Zoom parties, which were just the kids could log in and just see their friends that they know through the program. The parents were able to kind of see each other. We held little talent shows and things like that. They gave them something to do, and the parents were extremely thankful. In December, we did a virtual meeting with Santa Claus, so that children on the spectrum who were, parents were they were saying our child's not going to be able to go tell Santa what they want. So we were able to come up with that as well. So we've been able to leverage technology in a lot of ways so that our services continue. And in many ways, we were able to enhance some experiences for them as well. But yeah, it's definitely true. It can really stress a lot of families out, not being able to have that routine.
So Craig, with that, just another minute or two with you here on the MegaCast, I have to ask, anything positive that has come out of this for Easterseals Michigan that maybe will stick around if we ever get back to normal?
Yeah, so we started implementing telehealth services. Really taking it to another level. What came with that was a lot of computer literacy for the people that we serve. So they were saying things like, "Thank you for teaching me how to use an iPhone, and now I'm FaceTiming my family, and not only am I making my appointments, but I'm also able to communicate with my family, which has helped a lot. Read books on their phones. I think sometimes we take for granted how computer literate some of us are. I have 2 kids, and they can pull up all the stuff. I call them in all the time to help me out. We were able to implement that. I think the biggest thing for me, honestly, was just watching. We have 500 employees, and watching them go above and beyond every day to make sure that the people we serve, the services were not interrupted. We didn't have to close our doors. We were, offering these services. Medication was still being distributed. Was truly inspiring, and I think it just reminded me of the commitment that the organization has to the people in our community. It was really powerful, and it was something that will carry with me forever. Just watching that sheer devotion to the community was amazing.
It really is amazing to see how our hearts come together in the middle of a crisis, because at the end of the day, the work still needs to be done. The people still need to be served. And Craig, I'm with you. I'm still trying to learn Snapchat. Like, I have the basics, but I couldn't imagine trying to learn that virtually.
Yeah.
I'm Snapchat challenged. So,
me too.
Oh, good. I'm not alone. Hey, Craig, before we let you go, where can people find out more about the services and about your organization?
Absolutely. They can go to Eastersealsmichigan.com, and that is our website, and it has a lot of information on there, including stuff about our services, the screening, which is free, and you can check that out, and we encourage people to do that as well.
And get a care box.
Yes, please. It helps so many people. And we, in 20 items, we hid some high-end value items into those boxes. So you could end up with, a new Fitbit or an iPad. We had some very generous sponsors that helped us. So I kind of did a little Willy Wonka on that. So you can maybe walk away with something pretty cool too.
That is so awesome. Thank you again for everything that you guys are doing. And will you extend our gratitude to your team as well?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us on. Thank you. I appreciate it.